What's going on, guys? I hope you all had a great weekend. Essential Gear here. So I'm going to be doing the news in no particular order, starting out with the Supreme Court. So they did have some pretty groundbreaking decisions last week, but do remember that's not all they have in their current session. They still have to decide on the Remain in Mexico policy enacted under Trump, and what this pretty much requires is that certain people who enter the southern border seeking asylum have to return to Mexico while that case is being heard. And this policy is not perfect, but I generally think it's pretty good. I don't think we should just be releasing people into the country for months or years who may or may not show up to their hearing. All right, guys, next we have a case regarding the EPA's authority to regulate emissions from power plants. And to me, this kind of sounds like a sneaky way to get rid of coal-fired plants and do more of the green energy type production. So here, the proposed budget for 2023 would be $11.9 billion for the EPA, which is crazy. Hit that like and subscribe button if you think the EPA and other federal agencies should get less money to regulate our lives. So a case in point for this is Germany. They were moving in that direction of more green energy type production, but when Russia cut off their oil or natural gas supply, they said, crap, we don't have enough power. So what are they doing? They are firing up their coal-powered plants because they don't want to freeze to death this winter. China is planning to build 43 new coal-fired power plants. Can it still keep its promises to cut emissions? No, I don't think they care one bit about emissions. They're concerned about power. Power to help them accomplish their plans. And they do have big plans for the future. 8 million Australians urge to turn off lights. We are all having problems with energy. Why are we cutting fossil fuels and moving to green energy? U.S. states most at risk for blackouts this summer. States from the Midwest down to Arkansas and Louisiana are facing a high risk of blackouts thanks to a 2.3% drop in generation capacity compared to summer of 2021. Many states under the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, such as Arkansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, Iowa, ooh, you're on there twice, double trouble, Illinois, and Indiana are either entirely or partially at high risk. Vandals target Virginia pro-life center with menacing graffiti. You are not safe. So this is a known response from this group, Jane's Revenge. They did promise this, and I'm sure there will be more to follow. If you know anybody or have a wife in particular that is going to any of these pro-life clinics, I would seriously consider upping your security or providing security for that organization. Or better yet, find alternate locations to do your pre-conception checkups. Sri Lanka risks running out of food and fuel and could descend into anarchy, former energy minister says. So this is an unfortunate consequence of increased energy and fuel prices. The poor will get poorer and the rich will get richer. This is a good case study looking at what happens when people go hungry, they riot, they steal, and cause general unrest. SHTF actual is occurring over there. Sri Lanka will shut down schools and only allow fuel supplies to services deemed essential like health, trains, and buses for 2 weeks starting on Tuesday. Does that 2-week thing sound familiar? The G7 rolls out global infrastructure plan. U.S. aims to contribute $200 billion, Biden says. $200 billion. So the Army's at it again. They're dropping the requirement for a high school diploma amid recruiting crisis. So it looks like they have yet to hit 40% of recruiting goals this year, with the struggle to fill the ranks seemingly so grim the Department of Defense reducing its planned total force size because prior recruiting goals were out of reach. And this is a high school diploma and a GED, so you can now enter without either one of those things. So you do have to get at least a 50 on the ASVAB. It's kind of like a test that they use to determine what MOS or rate you're going to have while you're in service. So I don't see this as a terrible thing. You're giving people who seemingly have no future or limited possibilities on the outside, you're going to give them something to do, a way to better themselves. But it's also an indicator of what is to come. Keep that in mind. All right, lastly, we have this next thing spreading locally at large LA County events, health officials say. So 22 confirmed cases. What does this mean for you? So for me, this really is just another thing to orient my preparations around. Does this have the potential of becoming another large event like we saw in the previous 2 years? Potentially, I would say. I would prepare more for your freedoms being taken away like we have seen previously with the restrictions. Alright guys, that's it for now. I've got another few videos I am working on. I'll hopefully put another one out today. That's it. Essential Gear out.